Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
All the nerd fighters!
This week's theme is Tell Us a Story, in which we all tell you stories that we like, or just tell you like about a recent event that has happened. Now, I've been watching a lot of movie reviewer type channels on YouTube, like Nostalgia Critic, Nostalgia Chick, Cinema Sins, Jessica Otaku, all that good stuff. And I've noticed a bunch of themes when it comes to storytelling, at least in movies. Okay, so the three-act structure goes as follows. Act 1, introductions. We usually figure out what this character is about, some backstory usually, unless it's not plot related. We also understand the people around him, what his motivations are, at least in the beginning of the act. And then usually it starts to set up. Act 2 usually involves rising action, some sort of conflict. We usually see the character start to have stuff happen to him that's related to his character, and it allows him to develop and grow more. Usually we don't see this sort of growth until the end, but we know that the stuff in Act 2 helps facilitate his growth, at least in a good movie with a 3-act structure. Act 3 usually houses the climax, the falling action, and the resolution, where we see the effect that the climax and the rest of the movie had on the character as a whole, how it changed their personality, and then it usually leaves us with some sort of like warm and heartfelt, relatable thing that we can use in our own daily lives, because that's essentially what movies are. They're escapism, and we need something relatable and tangible to sort of engross, well, not tangible, but related to engross us into the film. People usually use this thing called show don't tell, where they use the visual medium to express more of the story than actual dialogue, which is fine. But I also wanted to talk about how the dialogue affects the 3-act structure and the growth of the protagonist and things like that. Now, that's a nice, neat little box for a narrative in a movie, but it's not really applicable to real world, real life sort of scenarios. Stuff happens in people's lives, and people do change. I'm not going to deny that, because that's a part of life. You grow and you learn and you change and whatnot. But movies, like I said, aren't accurate to how people change. People don't just do complete 180s on their personality. And sometimes it's not even that noticeable. It's usually nuanced and subtle, and it's not changing major parts of their personality. It's changing minor ones, and that affecting their overall personality. But it's not changing it completely. Our personalities mesh, and we become an amalgam of old self, of new self, of future self, past self, all that other stuff. There's a quote by Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor. I think it was on an episode of Doctor Who. He said, "What's the point of being a grown-up if you can't act like a kid every now and again?" And that, to me, resonates with me a lot deeper than almost anything I've ever seen in film or in television, because it makes sense, right? We've all seen that, like, wacky dad who's still like a big man child, but also who, takes care of his family and is very wise and developed and all that other stuff. We also see the mom who just like goes batshit crazy when she does stuff, but she's also like kind and caring and warm and very motherly. Like that, like TV shows like that and movies like that show people like that, or show them changing into that, or reverting back to that, or just mishmashing those two things together, that shows me the human condition, because it's rich and complex and deep. And sometimes when film does it right, they do it so right. And when they bomb spectacularly. But when it comes to this, I think it is a bit more complex, and it's hard to write a narrative that shows like the real deep three-dimensional life of characters and people. Some movies do it well. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Comments if you think that there are movies that accurately show like representations of three-dimensional growth and subtle and nuanced characters. I think I'm done here for now. So, as always, DFTBA and Nathan, congratulations on getting married. I don't think or going to get married, or your engagement to Rose. I don't think I said that personally ever. So, congratulations to both of you. And I will see you tomorrow. Now you're in the know. I'm going to end the show with this great prose from Nathan and Rose. Congratulations again. God, I love this job.